zwischen Armen und beiden Seiten.
We made it!
Welcome.
Another week.
Another week in paradise. What's good, everybody?
You are watching Regrettable Reviews, a Big Dumb Monsters production. Tonight, we're going to tackle your movie that you picked.
We're going to be talking about 1984.
Yeah, 1984 is 1984.
1984 is getting a little academic with it tonight.
I want to start the movie, but I also want to stop and go, are we, all right mentally? Because I've noticed the last few movies, we've just slowly been trending towards, I don't know, suicide or murder-suicide. Something is happening here. And I'm going to preface this. I already know what I'm going to pick for next episode.
Is it to hopefully pull us out of that?
Yes.
Okay,
it is.
cool.
I'm trying to get us out of this nosedive because I didn't hate this movie. I didn't. It's the first time I've ever seen it. But, like I said, we're on a steep dive into some kind of something.
It's brutal.
It is. So, never read it.
Okay.
Never seen it. I know everything that you would need to know, though, to know the story.
I do believe I did the quote-unquote proper order type thing where I,
read
the
it
book.
first.
I don't actually think I even read it in school. I think I just, read it when I was in college.
Oh.
It wasn't required. But,
I still will at some point read it.
I mean, I would say it's worth it.
Yeah.
I brought my copy for reference just in case. But,
I put out Chief Wiggum for the police state.
it works. But I read it, I watched the movie, and I haven't seen this in a really long time, I forgot how fucking brutal it was, but...
So let me ask, you've read it and seen it. How close is it to the source material?
This is, as book-to-film adaptations go, honestly, I would say this is one of the better, the best ones out there.
I feel like it is, from what I know of the overarching story,
They really only had to, cut some detail for time.
Yeah, and
And you lose pretty much nothing.
Yeah. I don't miss anything. And I didn't read the book, but I don't feel like there's something where I'm oh, they should have explained this better that maybe was in the book. I don't have that gap.
Yeah. And frankly, it stands on its own as a film, perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, this is film as an art form and as entertainment done well together, because sometimes you get just a art house film that, yes, it's beautiful or meaningful or touching, but it's just not entertaining.
Eraserhead.
I don't think I've seen Eraserhead.
If you're looking to have a really weird night,
I'm down always to have a weird night.
would be the circumstances that I recommend that for. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna say agree with this working both as art and entertainment.
Definitely leaning more towards the art.
Leaning a little more towards the art, definitely. But man, the opening sequence here is such an amazing demonstration of the fact that it's absolutely nuts how repeating something enough will make people believe the most blatant lies.
Yeah.
Through this whole movie, everyone here is fucking living in absolute squalor, and yet they believe wholeheartedly that the quality of life in their country is the best it's ever been.
Yeah. Well, even the John Hurt's character, Winston, he works at whatever, the Ministry of Truth or whatever, effectively.
He works at the Lie Factory.
Yeah. So he literally, the opening scene with him, with changing the headline from reducing to 40 grams a week for their chocolate ration, he says, say they're increasing to 25 to 30. Or 20 to 25 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, woo, it went up to 25. It's but if you just look at last week you had more than 40. Why does this work? And why is it real?
And then, that's the thing. It's such a joke when, Christo-fascist Republicans say, oh, this is 1984.
I love it. I was going to say, when they use this as an example, you're the ones who do this.
Exactly. You are the people doing this. And for all the people who say that...
Springfield/Pets.
Exactly. I don't want to talk about this right now.
I'm just saying that, just spread the lie enough, and it doesn't matter how many times we refute it or disprove it.
It does not matter. And just, like, it's insane to me. Because, again, when the Christo-fascist Republicans say it, it's hilarious. But, like, it feels like a joke to say it because it's such a punchline.
Yeah.
This is uncomfortably accurate.
So, this is the gripe I'll have with it, is that it's an excellent dystopia, but it's a type of dystopia where I kind of want to see how we got there, even in flashback. Even if it's just a short flashback scene. This gives very much V for Vendetta vibes. V, very much inspired by this. In fact, John Hurt plays basically the big brother in that. You've never seen V for Vendetta. Oh, okay.
I'm very sorry.
It's a graphic novel
that
was adapted into a movie. And
Hugo Weaving, right? And Natalie Portman?
Yep. Yes, exactly. Where was I going with that?
And that's where the most popular version of the anonymous mask.
Oh yes, Guy Fawkes mask and the Remember the 5th of November.
Yeah. I do know about it.
Yeah, just the way I knew about this, you know.
Yeah.
I just never actually got around to seeing it. No. In that movie, that's what I was going to say, is you get flashbacks as the story's unfolding. Not all at once, not like a 10-minute scene that sets up this year and then it's 10 years forward. No, nothing like that. But as people are telling their stories, you get visual flashbacks that give you more of the story, and that's what this needed.
Not that 1984, the book, has a ton of context to begin with, but I think the little that it does give you are unfortunate. Those are
cut.
some of the things that are unfortunately cut for time.
Yeah.
And again, it still works if you go in blind, but it works better if you don't.
Just that shred of context of how did we get from the World War III with the nukes and stuff to this full media control, totalitarian,
Oh yeah, no, I definitely have questions. I will say, just random, just comment without a ton of weight, but God, John Hurt, what a fucking legend.
Okay, so I was going to save this for later, but John Hurt, I don't know if he was the right choice. If I was doing a recast right now, I might have gone with someone, and okay, so maybe he is the right choice, and maybe it's Julia that's the problem. I just don't like them together. He's old enough to sort of vaguely remember life before this, which is why he's fighting it so hard.
That is why he's fighting it, but also in his memories that we do see of before this, it also doesn't look particularly fucking great.
That's true. We do get a little bit of flashbacks with him. But just him, not just the him. World at large.
So that does make me wonder if this is perhaps a common problem among the lie factory workers.
Oh, right, because,
they're the ones who actually...
Their brains are having trouble remembering what was the truth, what was the lie, and they know that a lot of it is lies, but they don't know which things were the lies.
Yeah.
Just the ones they edited.
And also, the set design, this entire movie, is fucking fantastic. The brutalism works so well, and of course they're all in glass cubicles, so they can all spy on each other.
Yep.
It's just... Also, fucking George Orwell coming up with the notion of, a TV screen a couple decades, a decade or two in advance.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Video chatting. Because when he does his working out in the morning, that lady can see him and tells him, no, you can bend lower. Mm-hmm. So, basically he invented the Peloton?
Kind of, sort of. I gotta say, I think John Hurt really is a good choice for Winston because, one, he's a really good actor. Two, he has a good face, but he's always looked kind of old.
Yes. I think that's my problem, is him and Julia. I don't get her attraction to him from the get-go.
My thing is, though, that I think he looks the part of someone who's really not that old, but has aged prematurely under his circumstances.
Yes.
And, again, the fact that he has a good face, but just looks older than he actually is, I think that makes me more willing to believe it.
I guess you're right. I do buy his character.
I really, really buy his character.
I have problems with Julia, I think. I want her to be older.
I would say that would... I don't know if they reference it in an easily findable passage, but...
That she's, youthful?
They definitely...
I just don't get it, though. Maybe I missed it. Do they explain it in the movie?
Not really.
Right. he sees her and she's fervently doing her job, saying the things she's supposed to say. And then he's writing in his journal about how he wants to kill her and he hates her.
Yeah.
And then he gets a note that says, I love you, and has a location. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to just forget all that and get laid.
I don't know. Yes, but also I get it. The kind of just like, take whatever the fuck you can. If something is presenting itself to you, grab it. Like in this world. And also the fucking Hitler Youth here.
I mean, very much literally, the Hitler Youth.
Yeah.
Just in this
Stairs
post-apocalypse.
written in 1947.
Is this the future if the Nazis won?
That's very possible.
Would this have been England in 1984 if the Nazis had won?
That is
Stuck in the
also,
propaganda machine.
If you listen here, he's saying the exact same things on the guy on the screen that Winston is forced to say later in his confession.
Well, yeah, you know the confessions are just forced.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I just...
Thought crime.
Yeah, okay, so the way that teenagers on the internet are genuinely trying to bring thought crime back as a thing in this, the year of our Dark Lord 2024, and I'm not remotely joking.
So, the idea of thought crime, I understand.
Like, and it's especially in fandom for whatever reason, but like teenagers are literally trying to be like, if you think about any sort of like taboo dark romance, like, oh, professor, student, whatever, if you think about that, you might as well be like committing assault in real life.
Yeah, see, they're different. They're very different things.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the concept of thought crime. I've committed the crime in my heart and in my mind. I haven't actually done it.
Or, but like, even just this, like, having wrong, like, they're genuinely trying to make having wrong thoughts. Like, people have gotten doxxed over this, and I'm not joking.
Well, you know, that sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
They clearly haven't read 1984.
No, they have not.
Weaponizing the police against people that had thoughts different from the main thought process.
Oh, boy.
No, thank you.
But, yeah, this really is just so alarmingly possible. Like, yes, maybe it is extreme, but I see some things I don't like today. I'll tell you that much.
But again, censoring what words you can say, reducing language, only letting people, you know, procreate, not having marriages because of love. It's got to be egalitarian. It's just about procreation. I've had 5 children, like that lady says proudly.
Yeah.
I was going to note, there was a trivia piece that came up that I was looking at earlier. Every time there's a dated thing happening, like when he's writing in the journal for April 4th, 1984, it was filmed on that day.
Yes, it was.
Every time there's a date on the screen, they filmed it on that exact day.
God.
Which
I
is
cannot imagine the
incredible
vibe of, like, doing that.
I mean,
filming this on the day that it was supposed to, like...
I want to lock these people on the set for the entirety of filming so that they really start to feel it. You know?
Yeah.
I want John Hurt to hurt. Like, I want him to be Winston.
Here's the thing. I think he definitely...
He does a great job.
He does an incredible fucking job. Yeah. It's just abject fucking misery.
You're broken down into decades. The 30 to 40 group. Get up to do your exercises.
Yeah. But yeah, oh my god. Like, I will say, I think a lot of the designs have that Cold War flair.
Oh, yes. They did an excellent job. It's run down, but almost clean. It's in its simplicity. It's industrial, just like Cold War. I don't know.
And also, like,
So
obviously
simple.
not this. This is, you know, absolute misery. I have never been against, like, brutalist architecture, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
I think it's fucking sick, but...
I always wanted to have, like, industrial pipes, like, running over in, like, an apartment in New York City or something, you know, on a brick wall.
Yeah, that shit looks
exposed
awesome.
brick. Yeah.
Yeah.
giant windows because this used to be a warehouse or
Every
something.
time they convert some like old like warehouse or like printing press into lofts.
Yes.
Keep those historic buildings, folks.
Just as they are.
But also, I just think it's so funny that people are like, "Oh, it's an anti-communist tale." It's like, no, this book is screaming at you. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Yeah.
Which, like, you're so right, comrade.
I told you it was going to be about Russia. I told you when she picked the movie.
I actually wasn't going to make it about Russia, but I can if you want me to.
No.
God, the phrase unperson when he's talking into that, like, dictaphone thing, how fucking horrifying.
I mean, that's something we do now to avoid filters and stuff. Like, unalive is a word we do.
Yeah.
Because kill will get cut by, Reels and TikTok and Instagram.
Again, this was alarmingly prescient.
What part?
Like the talking around.
Oh, yes, yeah.
In that way.
But also the simplification of a language. Do we need a word for killed? You were alive. Now you're unalive. You were unalived.
And that's the thing.
The simplifying speech. No.
I find something like Orwell, like in the book and then by extension this, really kind of fucking nailed it with like, there's something so fucking sinister about the goals to like strip away like language and sexuality, which are two of the like most fundamental pieces of the human experience.
Yeah. They are what separate us from most other animals.
Yeah. Yikes.
The ability to communicate at a higher level instead of just, hungry, sleepy.
Yeah.
Or, as Donner's saying, angry.
Let me in.
Fascists!
Yeah. And also I find they don't go into as much detail about it here in the movie, but like the anti-sex league thing, I find that particularly alarming because of like, we're kind of, again, I'm seeing this from like teenagers on the internet and a lot of people like encouraging it and like people saying like, oh,
like celibacy or ace lifestyle or
no, it's not even like, it has nothing to do with asexuality, which like totally valid, but it's this sort of like, there'll be a movie that has one suggestive scene and a bunch of teenagers will be like in the YouTube comments or whatever just being like, oh my god, like we have so many unnecessary sex scenes in every single movie and TV show today. It's like, no, we're actually in the most sexless era of media since the Hays Code.
Yeah.
But they're still demanding, and like every I guess social media to some degree, but like every app banning like any, even the vaguest reference to adult content so that they can appeal to advertisers, like just this like moral puritanism has a massive foothold right now.
And so there's some sensibility to it when you have something that had access to all age groups and it's not necessarily appropriate for all age groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is not me saying that nowhere on the internet should, like, be censored or have, like, terms of service.
Yeah, you don't want a Wild West version. Like the dark web.
Yeah, it's not that you can't have terms of service that target, like, a particular age group. So, like, yeah, adult content, not here. But there are so many places where it's just, like, the Tumblr thing. That didn't... Where they, like, had an...
Didn't they take away porn on Tumblr?
Yeah.
Which was basically isn't Tumblr dead?
No, not anymore, because that...
But did they bring porn back?
Yeah, they brought porn back.
Then there you go. Because I was going to say, that would have killed it.
Yeah.
It did for a while. In fact, OnlyFans was going to stop allowing porn at some... And again, see, your reaction shows that you don't know what OnlyFans is. OnlyFans is not porn. It's basically Patreon.
Yes, but for adult content specifically.
No, it was not made for adult content only.
What the fuck?
They allowed adult content, and that became the main thing, and then they wanted to take it away and only allow for other things.
Oh.
And they almost went out of business overnight.
I
and
thought
they're
it
like,
was
no, porn is fine.
I thought it was just because they started as essentially a porn app.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure OnlyFans started.
No, it was like a way for, like,
entertainers and stuff to get in
Yeah.
touch with their fans. That's
It was
why it's
Patreon.
called OnlyFans.
Yeah, OnlyFans. It was
Wow, okay.
we could reach out on our OnlyFans to people that are fans of Big Dumb Monsters. Have a special pay subscription service for them, like Patreon, like I said.
Yeah. There's a Fighting with Friends Patreon that nobody subscribes to. If anyone
If you
wants
make
to
it
be
an
the first.
OnlyFans, you're going to get subscriptions that will be disappointed because they won't be getting what they think they are.
But technically,
But technically, you wouldn't be lying.
I wouldn't be lying. Yeah, and this is also like so fucking horrifying because like again, this is just me repeating things that people much smarter than me have said in like, you know, literary analysis before, but people in general, they want an ideology, they want a community, they want something to believe in, to work towards, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and it is so easily fucking weaponized.
Yeah.
Like, you tell, and again, that's the whole, like, the perpetual war thing that they have going on here. You tell people, like, oh, you know, we're doing it for the cause. A lot of people will respond to that.
I mean,
Like, most people.
ask not what your country can do for
Yeah,
you,
but what you can do for your
but
country.
you ask what you can do for your country. It's like, oof.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what this is, you know?
Yeah.
A much nicer man said that one, but
Mm-hmm.
still doing the same thing. Like, oh,
Yeah.
for the greater good.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and they said something about, like, oh, you know, once we strip down language to, like, this certain, like, once we strip it back enough, we'll be something more than human. It's like, no, staying human is important, you fucks.
You'll be less than human by far.
Mm-hmm.
This is such an awkward scene.
I mean, it
When he
makes
meets
sense.
with the prostitute in the proletariat zone.
Yeah. But, I mean...
He's going to eviscerate the proletariat, if you know what I mean.
Producer?
You see a lot of cooter in this movie.
You really do.
Well, no, you don't, actually. You see a lot of hair. A lot of hair.
Which, you know...
Well, hey, you do what you want.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, you can have hair, but that's... style it or something, because...
Have you heard the rumor about Ridley Scott having to spend a ton of money editing Sigourney Weaver's bush out of Alien?
I believe that that's true, but I don't want to look it up because I want to believe that it's true.
Why you
I,
can't- oh, all right, never mind.
Yeah.
I have seen it.
Do not shatter
rumor.
that illusion.
I
for
love
me.
the idea that she has such a massive bush that they had to come in with editors and add to the budget a line item for
Yeah.
fix Sigourney's bush.
Anyway,
I'm just gonna keep saying that.
clip it so he doesn't have to keep saying it.
Oh God.
I'm realizing now how few notes I have for this.
You don't really need them. The story's pretty straightforward.
The story is extremely straightforward. Like, I think... like, one, they obviously both know that this is going to end in absolute fucking disaster, but they have to live while they have this opportunity in front of them.
This moment in time where they still can try to feel human
Yeah.
before it's all gone.
And, like, you know, eat the rich and all that.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Like, his whole thing is that if the proletariat ever realized that they actually have the power, the war would be over.
Again, I know that there are multiple, and this is not me, like, being a communist. I know that there are multiple interpretations of this book, and I would say that, like, the most universal one would be anti-authoritarianism, but the fact that, like, a massive plot point in the book is him having the realization of, like, you know, if we seize the means of production, and then some people read that and were like, this is anti-communist.
I mean, it kind of is anti-communist. The idea that you're all just part of one big greater good.
Yeah.
It's an oversimplification, don't get me wrong, but that is sort of...
Yeah, I guess when you put it like that.
You're just a cog in a machine.
If you strip,
Accept
like, if
your
you-
small rations
Yeah.
and do the work.
Yeah. No, you're right. I hadn't come at it from that angle.
However, there is a ruling class here and then an even lower class than the working class
which again
doesn't quite exist in communism. I guess
like-
those are the people who didn't conform to it.
Yeah, or like on paper, or at least communism on paper, those shouldn't exist. Everyone should be. So
If it's a textbook communism, yes. Unfortunately, that's never happened on this planet.
and also with this, we have this being informed by people making the film who are in the middle of the Cold War. Blah blah blah.
Right. So now you have a
Not
writer from
So now you not only have the
decades prior.
the context in which 1984 was written, you have the context in which this thing that was written during extremely tumultuous times
Is being
is
interpreted.
being interpreted and filmed at the height of the Cold War.
Right. So some of that tone might be on purpose that maybe in the book isn't quite as aggressive. I don't get this shop. This always bothered me as I was watching this. It seemed like a setup from the day one. He walks in here and the guy's like, "Oh, you want that? It's over 100 years old, $5."
I mean, yes, but also at the same time, I feel like you're just so fucking broken.
It just seems like a
don't
trap.
question it.
You wouldn't question it. You wouldn't want to be here. You'd be like, "This is too much stuff. What is this junk?"
Oh, well, he does... Okay, you sold me the Notebook, so technically this isn't the first time he's been
I know.
here.
And he's buying non-essential items, which seems weird. Because he lives in such a...
And
What's the word I'm looking for? Simple life,
I feel like everyone has their tiny indulgences. Like, there are a couple little references made to, like, minor
I guess.
indiscretions of others in the book.
I would say, have you seen Equilibrium?
I have not.
Okay. Equilibrium is kind of like a retelling of this almost. You know Equilibrium, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, I know
It's
Equilibrium.
basically 1984, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mixed with The Matrix, but
Okay.
better.
It came out before The Matrix, though.
Like just before.
Like, yeah, and it's also it's Christian Bale and Sean Bean, and they play. I think they're called priests.
Yeah. Grammaton priests.
Grammaton priests. Yeah. Basically, everybody takes this pill called Fuckatol. It's not really, but that makes them thoughtless, emotionless, pragmatic, simple creatures. They get married by assignment to have children that have the right mix-up of genetics. And so he's a Grammaton priest, which is people that enforce this, and I can't remember what they call the thinking masses that won't conform to it.
Am I detecting a sprinkle of Gattaca as well?
Ish. But it's almost exactly 1984 with like they have a Big Brother thing going too, with like a a guy who just tells them what to believe and what to do.
Yeah.
And they have gun fu.
Yeah.
Fun.
Gun kata is what it's called, but
Yeah.
it's a martial arts that's designed around constantly moving and shooting so that a single person can take out dozens of assailants with weapons.
I'm here for it.
It's like I said, it just came out just before The Matrix, and if The Matrix hadn't come out and that had gotten a second run, that would have been the franchise right there.
Okay.
You gotta see Equilibrium.
I will put that on my list.
It's a much more interesting, like fast-paced.
I was about to say, I don't know if this isn't interesting.
It's
Bleak.
it's a faster-paced version of this. I
Yeah.
guess is what an action-packed.
Yeah, I would say, like, again, and this is as a person who very much has an appreciation for, like, slow movies without, like, some huge, like, explosive payoff. I think this does a good job of being, like, just, again, very measured. It's not like it's dragging, or at least I didn't think it was.
It never dragged, but like this scene, it's just so strange.
It is. And see, that's another thing. This shit, like, they give you enough
This part bothered me
your
too.
tiny little terrible vices, just enough to keep them fucking placated.
Well, the only thing you see them drink the entire movie is gin.
Well, no.
That's gin.
No,
Every
I
time.
know it's gin, but they do like coffee and tea.
Oh, yeah. Later on, that guy at the restaurant, he did it a little bit earlier, and he does it for them later. Yeah. But he puts something in it, which I assume is the fuck-a-tall of this. You know?
Probably.
Yeah, so they had a thing there where they were doing their propaganda, like, that they were blasting to everybody, and it was, war is peace. Freedom is slavery. Well, there's no amount of time that's going to make me fall for that. I don't understand
Here's the thing.
how.
I don't understand it either, but also you can lose a language in like 2 generations.
I understand that, but they're literally telling you that war is peace. The two things are still distinct ideas, and they're saying the only way to have peace is through war.
I mean, I see similar bullshit being said today about like peace through strength or whatever.
Oh, okay. It's the walk softly, carry a big stick.
It's
Theory.
like, is it really if it's just the threat of the big
Yeah,
stick?
threat of
If it-
violence is the way you're keeping the peace. You're not actually keeping the peace. You're just waiting until someone has a bigger stick.
Yeah. But like,
Or is willing to get hit, I guess.
but like I hear that, and I like there's a house in my neighborhood that is covered in some very upsetting political material, and one of the things that they have on there literally says peace through strength. So clearly, there are people among us today who are believing essentially this war is peace
There is still
shit.
another step, though, that they haven't crossed over, you know? Although
Yeah.
they're basically there.
Yeah. So like the fact that I see the beginnings of something like that even now, at the time this was written, and like the time
30s?
it was
40s?
30, it was written in the 40s, like yeah, right after World War II.
Okay. Sorry, go.
No, you're good. But yeah, the fact that I'm seeing alarming shit today, and it's been not even like half of a like lifetime.
Yeah.
I think in a couple generations you could definitely get people to believe some really whack fucking shit. And you had time for more than a couple generations between the time this was written and the time the story was supposed to take place. So
Yeah. Yeah, this.
it is,
Oh, she also hurt her arm.
and I'm sure that was on purpose.
I don't know. I'm just trying to think if there's... like, because they don't ever explain that, and...
Well, but also, she says she's done this before.
A lot. She very specifically says, a lot. He's like, do you like doing it? Not just with me, but with, like, anyone? And she's like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I like dick.
Which, like, same queen. But, but yeah, so maybe she just kind of springs and takes whatever she wants wherever she can get it. Because, again, what else do you do in a world like this?
Yeah. I did not realize, I was just looking at the thing here. Try and tell me it's not communist. 2 + 2 = 5 is a Soviet Communist Party slogan.
Oh, shit, yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, they were definitely coming after communists with this.
The proletariat writing machines.
Well, yes, that too,
The
yeah.
fucking kill Chat GPT.
Yeah. The Soviet NKVD used those exact torture methods
Yep.
when they did interrogations. Okay, there's no debates now. It's definitely attacking the Soviets are the bad guys. Pre them being our world enemy.
Yeah, that's...
This is after they were just lost 6 million troops. No,
Yeah,
sorry, 6 million was the other number. 23 million? 12 million? 12.3 million?
I think it
A
was like
lot.
12, yeah.
12 million Soviet soldiers died in World War II
Yeah.
to win that war.
And you're doing this?
And our response was already, yeah, but they live a different lifestyle than us.
So...
Granted, they did lose that many soldiers because they used them like cheap meat, you know.
Oh, God, yeah.
They put those boys through a meat grinder. They had
God.
more soldiers than guns, and the front line would have guns, and they would come up and they'd be shooting and stuff. And when somebody fell, the next line would be like, "Ooh, a gun!" and pick up the gun to try and defend themselves.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying,
No, I think about that shit, like, a lot.
Russians not bad. Soviet Russia bad
Yeah.
for what
essentially.
it did to its own people, especially.
100% for what it did to its own people. No, yeah. Like, horrifying. Yeah, again, turning around and immediately being like, these guys will probably end up like this, though. It's like, come on, man. They just
Dick
threw
move.
They just threw so many of their own people
Yeah, right.
at
Like I
the
said,
problem to fix it.
12 million people died on your side for this, and you immediately did this?
No, actually, in Russia, World War II is often referred to as the Great Patriotic War, or the Great Patronymic War.
Makes sense. They defended the border of Russia,
Yeah.
pretty much, because they didn't really go much further till towards the end of the war. But yeah, literally, that's all. It's defending the motherland.
Yeah.
I could see them saying that.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with your comments about Julia.
I just want her to be older. I don't know.
I think she's kind of pretty.
I didn't say she wasn't pretty.
Oh, no.
I just want her. In fact, I don't want her to be pretty. It stands out. It makes her seem like a plant.
But, I mean, the way they have her, styled and everything, she is pretty, but she looks, really plain here.
Well, yeah, they do their best to make her look plain. But the woman behind her right there, that would have been perfect for Julia. Just a very normal looking.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't need to be a pretty woman. It needs to be a woman that I believe has been a part of this machine so long that she's also worn down.
Yeah, beaten down in a similar way. There is a comment in the beginning of the book about how, again, keeping the people, subdued with, little vices or whatever. He said, he, writes about having gone to the movies, but of course, it's all war films.
Of course.
But, again, just doling out whatever sad little crumbs they can to keep the masses in their place.
God, the Hitler Youth.
Yeah, no.
I like the dad that later he's like, oh, I didn't even know I was a criminal. My boys realized, or my daughter realized. I didn't even know.
Yeah, that's fucking horrifying.
And he just
talk-
goes with it.
And they don't go into as much detail in the film, and I really think that's one point taken away for that, because I think it just hammers home how fucking horrifying everything about this is. In the book, they very explicitly state that it's because he was talking in his sleep.
About what, though? He wasn't actually a bad guy.
I know, but he said something against Big Brother in his sleep.
Oh, he said anything negative about the party, and therefore was an enemy of the party. Where have I heard that before?
But that's how he was a thought criminal without even knowing it. And I think they should have just been like, this is the fucking tomorrow belongs to me.
This whole them singing thing, the children, that actually is, to me, that screams so much more. Well, Germany did this, but the American Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh no, it's definitely
It's very much that indoctrination of a child.
it
thing,
is extremely
which is
indoctrination,
why
but also
it should not be required.
definitely reminds me of they use this in Cabaret, again, the Nazis singing "Tomorrow Belongs to Me." It's
Yeah.
yeah, gross. You hate to see it.
So what would you say? What would you say you'd put your ratings at? You've got your, what it does for the industry, and you've got rewatchability.
Rewatchability is. I feel like it's high, because I was watching this for the second time, and it's a really great movie, and I'm sure that I'll watch it again at some point in my life. But also, it's fucking bleak.
You got to be in a mindset for this.
You absolutely have to be in a mindset for this. So, as a movie that I absolutely will watch again, but not necessarily for pleasure, but because it's a well-made piece of art with that has something important to say.
Yeah.
I think I would put it at a 7.
I think I'd probably go for the rewatchability somewhere around 6, maybe 6.5. So not far off. And it's because I definitely want to see it again. Because, to be honest, I did nod off for a little bit in the middle. I was watching it. I was in the middle of stuff. It was late. I want to make sure that I did catch everything, that I didn't miss any symbolism, that I didn't miss a reference. But what I saw the whole movie, and it was entertaining to a degree. I mean, it's fucking bleak.
Yeah.
but entertaining.
But I am still watching a story that I'm enjoying being told. Or
Yeah.
that I'm interested as it is being told to me.
Yeah. And it makes me debate, like, would I want them to remake this movie ever? And I'm thinking, like, no,
No.
because it's going to seem very heavy-handed, even though the source material is heavy-handed.
Yeah,
It's just going to seem forced
Yeah,
and
I would-
unbelievable.
don't touch it. You don't have to.
Yeah. What about for what it does for the industry and the genre?
See, the thing is, like, George Orwell was far from the first person to write a dystopia.
Right.
So-
or a totalitarian dystopia, even.
So, it's not that it's doing anything we haven't seen before, because, like, it feels rude to say, but it really kind of isn't.
I guess she just looks in pain, by the way.
Yeah.
This sex scene is so awkward.
But again, like, would that not be the vibe?
Oh, no! They made a new version in
You gotta
2023.
be fucking kidding me.
No! Dark comedy?
Fuck off.
What?
No.
What the fuck?
Fuck that. Anyway.
God. All right. So yeah. So for what it does for the industry, for what it does for sci-fi or dystopia or whatever you want
I
to,
mean, I
however you
think
want to
it
look at it.
definitely set the tone aesthetically for a lot of the dystopias we saw after it, because, like, still today you get the, like, the fake country that's evil in whatever movie. Oh boy, they've all got Russian accents.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you're still seeing the fallout of these design choices, which again were because it was made at the time it was, because of the source material, all this myriad of factors. But just so it does a lot. That's my thing. It does a lot, even though it's not necessarily a combination of elements that, like, have never been seen before. Even the book wasn't.
No, I mean it was far from the first dystopian novel, but the
like-
idea of the way the dystopia exists, like that totalitarian control, the thought police, that stuff, kind of. But when did Philip K. Dick come around? He was later.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, because I would compare it to some of Philip K. Dick's works, or Isaac Asimov even has some,
Yeah. Yeah.
but they were inspired by this, not at the same time as this. So
I think this might be a 7/7 for me,
yeah, I think I'm gonna go 6.5, 7,
because it's definitely
maybe
doing
even 8.
Again, it's definitely doing something unique with, like, the flavor of the totalitarian
Yeah.
dystopia, but it's not inventing something new.
But the way it put it all together is, I don't want to say ripped off, but it is paid homage to in other films. Like I said, Equilibrium feels like a
absolutely.
carbon copy of this, made for a more modern audience, so it's more actiony. There's other dystopian films where it's just like you can tell, without this, we don't have that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe they would have come up with it, but would we have wanted it then? We wanted it when it came out in the early 40s.
Yeah.
I don't think we would have wanted it if nobody came up with this recipe until, say, the late 60s.
Yeah, no,
We're like,
that's a solid point.
Then it would have felt heavy-handed communist attack against the Soviets, which is like, okay, it's the Cold War. I get it.
It's exactly what's happening right now. You think we don't know?
See, it would have felt heavy-handed. See
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's not heavy-handed because it was written before it.
Yeah, the end of this movie is so fucking brutal, man.
I think the torture is not done well. I don't find John Hurt's hurt sounds and looks to be as convincing as they were in Alien.
Yeah, and I suppose that's just because, like, I would say that this is, like, so much more subdued in tone
Yeah.
overall.
They don't want you to see anything too. She's hurt. You never see anything, no blood, no whatever. Even the one guy that's beat up later, you see bruises and a little cut in John Hurt. Shaved head, little cut on his forehead, little cut on his lip. It's not.
But again, it's about breaking you psychologically. It's not necessarily about.
Well, that's why a lot of it's electrocution, but they do also do the rack thing. And so.
It's not about breaking your bones, it's about breaking your
You know what I
will.
would have wanted to see? Some Clockwork Orange flashing image stuff would have made sense for this. I don't know if that's in the book or not. If they do like forced image or sounds, like
Not that I recall.
because that's another thing you do is just lambaste somebody with sounds while they're awake and while they're asleep, and just
Yeah.
like again by rote make them believe something.
Yeah, and I think they probably strayed away from anything that would look too Clockwork Orangey.
I get
because of
that.
the time.
I get that, but they don't want to be accused of ripping off something else. And
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, there's more detail to like the progression of their relationship and like the notes and how they communicate with each other while trying to,
Have their little tryst.
stay out of the way, stay out of the way, still be cogs of the machine. There's more detail to that. So like again, it just makes more sense if you've seen it, but it's not that it doesn't read like at all. Yeah, everyone is cured sooner or later. Fucking chilling.
There's just something about the complacency they all have with it. They know that everyone's confessions are bullshit, but they know that eventually they'll be the one giving a confession and they're going to believe it. So
Yeah.
everyone's
I
cured
wish
eventually.
only to be shot while my mind is still clear.
And yet they don't. That's the thing. They're so confident in this machine they've created that they don't execute these people. They just brainwash them and send them back to work, which, by the way, is more efficient if it's working.
I mean, clearly it is. You would need to have had such a track record of success to maintain this system. Like, clearly. There was a stage play version of 1984 that ran on Broadway for a little while, and I'm so sad that I never got to see it, because apparently it was so fucking brutal that nobody under 13 was allowed in the theater, and there were several reports of people, like, passing out and throwing up. And I'm so sad that I never got to see it.
That's disappointing. Yeah, I would want to go to that.
Yeah, apparently it was fucked up.
So, would you recast anyone in this?
I really don't
To,
think
like,
you need
fix it.
to.
For me, it's Julia. I don't know who. I'd have to think about
And
it.
that's the thing.
1984?
I don't, like, if you were going to,
Sigourney Weaver.
and she could have pulled it off. The woman can do anything.
Right. Like, we were just talking about Alien and her bush, which would fit into this movie perfectly.
Fantastic.
So,
And she and John Hurt knew each other.
literally would have just... Oh, that's why. That wouldn't work. That people would just think about that. They would just think about her as Ripley. You couldn't. She's too big.
You're so right.
You need a smaller star. I just want someone just a little bit old. She would have been perfect, though, if it hadn't been for that tie-in.
Yeah.
A little older, a little bit... Looks older, like weathered years, than she actually is. Yeah. So she would have been just like him.
Yeah. And I have, like, even less of a reference pool to draw from, just
Right.
mentally.
Just haven't seen as many movies in the 70s and 80s to pick from.
No. Which is big sad.
I guess that's all I would do. Ooh, Michelle Pfeiffer. Interesting. Too pretty again.
Yeah.
Now that's theater. Is that because we would have seen Sigourney Weaver's full bush? Is that what that was
That
about?
would've worked- No, that was with the brutal
Oh, okay.
passing out and vomiting.
Oh, okay. All right, all right. Sigourney Weaver, I believe you can get me through the night.
Love her.
It's from the riff tracks of Alien,
Nice.
which you should see. Now that you've seen Alien, we should do a Riff Tracks Alien watch.
I'm down. That sounds like a delightful evening. Yeah, I really don't think I would do any recasting here, if I'm being totally honest.
The fact that they have rationed things and only specific things, but the wealthy leaders aren't sacrificing half things. V for Vendetta, again, rips from that with its inspiration. At one point, they're making toast and putting butter on it because they stole it from the ruling class. Actually, they stole it from John Hurt.
And I mean, here's the thing. This definitely did happen in, like, you know, in the USSR. It was very much a thing.
We had gas rations and food rations here, too, though, in the worst times.
Yeah. And if you had enough money, you could get around it.
Right.
So, like,
what's the difference here?
It's human nature, really.
Yeah, so recasting. The only thing I just want that. Just Julia. And it's not because I don't like her. Stuff like this actually makes it okay that she's younger. It's like she's never been able to dress up for someone before.
Yeah.
So she's got that dress and puts it on, and she's like, what do you think? It's because she's never had a normal life.
Yeah.
Because she isn't older. I guess.
Yeah, I do kind of get it.
I guess. I still really do want it, but I guess. And to break the movie, I mean, Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver. Easy.
Who else could you break the movie with? Recast John Hurt for somebody that also in 1984 would have been recognizable and would have drawn away from the movie and doesn't have the right tone. Let's keep him British. Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah, no, would not have worked. Not even a little bit.
You don't want Mr. Bean?
No, not at all. Well, because that's the thing. Even if he's not doing that, that's all I see.
I know. That's my point. You don't want Mr. Bean? At least with John Hurt, like, you recognize him from a ton of stuff, but you don't think he's that character.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't really know about breaking it either.
I mean, anything. Anyone could break it. Anyone that's recognizable and takes you out of it, like I said.
Yeah. And I feel like that's, again, it's such an easy thing to do for a movie. Like, I feel like if this was even 1 centimeter off.
That's what I
None of this
wanted to
would work.
recast Julia, but then I saw that scene and I remembered, yeah, but some of the things do kind of point to her being younger. I don't get it. I'm missing something there, but the character is correct for the character. I'm just not getting the chemistry.
Yeah.
Why she picked him? Why did she just assume he would be the one?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like you can't touch, like, this is like a House of Cards of a movie. You cannot touch anything or else it's
I
gonna
think
fall
you're right.
apart.
I think you're right.
Which, honestly, speaks to, like, you know, directorial ability here.
Oh, what did you think there? That torture scene was awesome with the rats. I loved that. Because, again, psychological. They need him to go back to work, so they weren't actually going to let him eat his eyes. But the whole, like, we're gonna.
Yeah.
You don't know.
And why would you not believe it when they've already gone to the effort of fucking strapping you to this?
Yeah.
Clearly, they'll, like, you know, they'll stop at nothing, so...
In the book series that I favor, that has a convention and everything, Wheel of Time, there's a thing where there's someone called a thief catcher. They're just bounty hunters. He was talking about breaking down people in interrogations, and he had these 2, like, muscled mercenaries, and he broke them down by saying, okay, put 1 in each room, and then I want you to get me 2 figs and a mouse. And then they both started babbling and telling him everything. And so then the characters he's explaining the story to go, well, what were you going to do with him? He goes, I have no idea. I didn't have to. They came up with the punishment for me. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
So the rats, you never actually have to use them. You
Yeah.
just have to make them think you're going to use them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, that whole rat scene is also used in the art house classic Fast and Furious, right? Or is it one of the later ones?
I don't remember there being a rat scene.
I know they do.
It's just a car movie. It's definitely is it Gone in 60 Seconds?
Maybe.
I know they do the rat thing in one of the Sinister movies.
Nah, not what I'm talking about. But yes, well they put a rat on a guy's belly and then put like a glass jar on it and then start heating the jar up with a blowtorch.
Yep.
And the rat has nowhere to go but in.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, things that inspired. Although that may or may not have always been a time told.
I'm pretty sure somebody was doing that during the Spanish Inquisition, like for real.
It's Too Fast, Too Furious.
I was right. It is a Fast and Furious movie.
I've never
Fuck yes.
I've never seen a single Fast and Furious movie.
So, I watched the first maybe 3, and then I didn't. And then I hear about things going on. There's literally tanks and submarines, and then they were in space in one of them. And now I want to suspend my disbelief and stop judging them as when I saw the first movie what I thought I was seeing, and just watch them for pure entertainment fun.
Okay.
And I feel like they're action nonsense.
All right.
Like
Ding,
they're
ding, 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 ding,
they're
ding.
brain dead action. Like they've removed the whole car stealing part of it, and now they're like international war heroes or something. And I want to see it. I want to see how they got there from that first movie.
Honestly, I can't blame you. You know, I think everybody needs at least one franchise that they will dick ride until they die.
Okay.
Mine is Saw.
I haven't seen them all. I definitely feel like there's a steady decline in quality at one point, and I think from what I hear, it ticks back up hard. But like for me, 2 really took me out of it, and it's because, are you ready for this? It wasn't a Saw movie.
Yeah, no.
They just bought it so they can keep the franchise going.
Where it's like there's often the one that doesn't fit,
And
then the next one is back on theme.
Yeah, so 3 does get back on theme, but I felt so dejected after 2
Yeah.
that, like, I don't know, I guess I lost steam on it.
Yeah.
And I'm sad because I think they go back up.
There is such a
Just
weird
so much push.
element of, well, one, how I feel like taking care of that is like the least of your problems in this world. Like
What?
maintaining the bush.
Oh, yeah, well, they shave it all. It's weird.
Yeah. But like there's such an interesting element of almost like non-sexualness to the nudity in this movie, even though it is during sex scenes.
Yes, I will agree. Yes, the nudity in this is almost completely artful and tasteful,
Yeah.
even though it's always a sex scene.
Yeah. Which again works for a movie of this caliber, of this tone,
Yeah,
all that kind of thing, because like that's not the point.
right. They're doing it for like instantaneous pleasure, and then they just happen to be naked,
Yeah.
and the story is still bleak. If it was too seductive, if it was too passionate, any of it,
Then you're taking away from the rest. Like you're.
In fact, I think that's why she looks like she's in pain
That's
for the
why
sex
you're,
scene.
like ruining. It
They don't want her to look-
smudges the rest of the movie. Almost.
If they have too much fun, it takes away from the bleak feel of the
Yeah.
film. Yeah. In fact, that tender kiss is the softest thing in the whole movie.
Yeah.
The only other time we see people kissing is the couple making out earlier, and it's like aggressive
Yeah, it's a
and
little sleazy.
sleazy. Yeah. Still bleak because they're in a room full of people doing that.
Mm-hmm.
She looks so familiar to me, but she's not any of the people I thought she was.
Hmm.
I looked her up. Nothing that we would know. The director, ton of stuff, but
Yeah.
mostly like
And the fact that
Shakespearean.
like John Hurt has that weird like skinny strong thing going on, like again,
wiry. Yeah.
like very wiry, and like person who was like, you know, they're not feeding him well, but he's forced to become strong by like just having to survive,
Yeah.
even though you don't have much to actually like build muscle with.
So yeah, I mean, overall good film, but like I said, are we good? Should we change tone? And-
Maybe just a little bit.
You know, like, we can go back, but I just feel like it's been a slump.
It kind of has been.
like, what was it? Space Truckers is the
I think that's the last
most
time.
fun thing we did. And it's not all that fun.
It's kind of not, yeah. He really doesn't have, like, a bad face.
John Hurt?
Yeah.
No. And, well, I mean, like, if you go back to Alien in 79.
Yeah, he's even younger than that.
Yeah.
And I've
Decent
seen...
looking guy.
And I just Googled it, because I was like, was he in anything before Alien? I found some things that he was in before Alien. Like, honestly, he was pretty handsome.
Yeah.
Like, he just kind of...
You see that with
he,
some
like,
of the
aged
actors. you know.
young, I guess, is, like, a weird way to put it.
Well, let's see. He was, what, born in the 40s? No. 50s? 50s? It's almost like I have IMDb right here, and he's literally open on it. 40. Okay. So he was... Oh, wow. He was actually 44 for this. So he doesn't look that bad. He looks a little older.
Yeah, but again,
But- Not bad for 44.
One,
That means...
it helps him sell the character, and two, obviously, like, everything contributes to this as well. Like, the lighting, the costumes, like, it's all, like, you know, very washed out and gray and worn. So, like, obviously, like, you know, at the premiere of this, I'm sure he looked much better.
Yeah.
Like-
of course. Because, yeah. He would have been cleaned up, nice, clean shaven.
Yeah, so, like, honestly, yeah, you know what, good for him. But,
I'm sure John Hurt could fuck.
oh, I'm sure that man was drowning in pussy.
Yeah. You heard it here, folks. John Hurt drowns in pussy.
He
Well,
prob-
drowned. Yeah.
He probably did.
Yeah, he was the war doctor for people who care about that franchise.
Shut up.
Soundtrack. He had soundtrack? Didn't mean to click on you, Hercules, from 2014. Go, get that fat ad out of here. Thank
Yeah,
you.
he was in fucking
Everything.
everything, man.
I mean,
Black Cauldron, Plague Dogs, the Elephant. Oh, the Elephant Man is one of my favorite. He was in Raskolnikov?
I don't remember him in History of the World Part 1
Huh.
as Jesus.
Anyway,
Alien.
the Elephant Man is one of my favorite movies of
Oh,
all
he's the
time.
voice of Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings from 78.
Watership Down, that movie traumatized me as a child.
I don't think I've seen it.
Ooh. Definitely worth watching, but my friend's mom who put that on because she saw cartoon bunnies and did not think
Oh.
to check that out.
Okay.
Woo!
Yeah. That'll happen.
Yeah,
Right.
you will have
Soundtrack.
that.
Apparently he sings. Yeah.
But yeah, no, The Elephant Man is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life.
It's pretty good.
Fucking love that movie so
Pretty
much,
good.
and it pisses me off so much that it took The Elephant Man for them to come up with the
Special effects.
special effects category for the Oscars because they
Yeah.
were fucking robbed!
Yeah.
Also, David Lynch, my beloved.
I don't know what else there is to say about 1984.
Not a shit ton.
Other than...
Like, the torture scenes are fucking brutal.
See, I don't find them that brutal.
I mean, have I seen worse? Yes.
Both psychological torture and other torture, I've seen ones that I found more believable. It's not even about worse, it's about believable. Like I said, it's so subdued, but again, to your point,
It works
it
for
was
the movie.
too dramatic. Like, if he was convulsing more aggressively or whatever, you know, it would just kind of take it out of the bleak meh
Yeah.
feeling you're having.
Again, this is so...
You almost don't want to be like, oh, taken aback, you know?
Like,
'cause-
again, it's... You can't move anything even an inch to the left.
So while again, just like with Julia, while I want to do it, I can't change it.
Yeah.
I can't change it.
Yeah, this really is such an excellent film. I know why, societally, we hate rats, but...
I mean, I don't. It's just it stems from our belief that they're unclean, which fine, they are, but only wild rats. In the
Yeah.
same way that you don't want a wild rabbit in your house or a wild dog in your house.
Yeah.
Because the animal itself is not the problem. It's its feral state
Yeah.
that's a problem.
That's the problem. But, like, they're so cute.
Yeah, they are.
I think it would just be fun to, like, be the person who has to go in and be like, oh, well, I gotta rub coffee grounds on this rat for this movie.
A rat wrangler.
Yeah, someone had to do it. Just like someone had to do it for the fucking cat in Pet Cemetery. Can you imagine going into work in the morning and your job is to just rub Vaseline and coffee grounds on a cat, get him all scruffed up, so he can be in a movie?
If the cat is as well behaved as that one must have been, yeah, I could do that.
That would be fucking delightful.
Yeah.
Hell, even my cat would stand for that, just because he's stupid.
My cats just like to be pet, so they'd be like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah. My cat is so dumb.
I haven't tried to judge their intelligence yet.
You know how, like,
So I'm
people
not
do
sure.
the thing where they're like, oh, test how smart your cats are if they, like, put their paws up to stop themselves in the wall?
Okay.
You can just mash that little guy right into the wallpaper.
I didn't know about that one. I'll have to try that with the cats. I know the
Oh.
dog one, which is if you throw like a blanket over your dog, the amount of time it takes them to get out of there, the inverse of that is their, IQ, if you will. So immediately just throws it off their head. That's a smart dog.
Yeah.
Some dogs just run with it on until they hit a wall. That is a dumb dog.
But yeah, no, it's like, oh, if they stop themselves, like,
I'm gonna try that when I get home. I've got
But
2
no,
cats.
you could just pick him up and just mash his little face into the wallpaper. He's a very stupid little man.
God. All right, so here's what I'm thinking, and I'm gonna. If you don't want to watch it, because I don't think you've seen it, but if you don't want to watch it, I can pick something else that's more upbeat too. Galaxy Quest.
I have seen Galaxy Quest.
You have seen Galaxy Quest.
It's been a hot minute, but I have seen it.
There's no rule that says we can't do a movie we've both seen.
There is no rule that says that. I don't know how much I would be able to bring to the discussion, but
Why not?
I don't know. I just don't know if I have that much. I mean, again, I haven't seen it in a while. I just don't know if I have that much to say, other than funny.
So watch it again, and think about the actors. I mean, it's a star-studded cast.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's top to bottom. Everyone in it is a star.
Yeah, just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, and Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver,
And
my
her
beloved.
wonderful cleavage is. That's the main star of that movie.
Sigourney Weaver's
Sigourney
boobs.
Weaver's boobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Interested that there was no comment about the decade and boob shape here.
Well, there's very simple flat boobs on all the boobs we see in this.
This is true.
In the 80s, that's what they had.
I have, I don't know why your comment about that
The
being
conical boobs? Have you never seen a James Bond movie? Have you never seen a picture of a woman from the 70s? Their bras are literally conical too.
No, I know.
It's a thing.
I think...
Cone-shaped boobs are like a bygone of the 70s.
But there was, the bullet bra in the 50s.
I guess that's what I meant, actually, the 50s, not the 70s. I don't know why I said 70s.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just found your comment about that chick in A Boy and His Dog, and you were like, oh, that's a 70s boob. I was just like, it really kind of is.
I see pointy boobs, and I go, that was filmed in the 70s. Or 80s, and it's just a holdout.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do Galaxy Quest.
Okay. Yeah, I like Galaxy Quest. It's a good movie.
very
I'm not
happy
going
with
to
that.
spoil it. Why am I reviewing it already? I could do it from rote. I've seen it so many times. I mean, that movie came out at the height of my coming of age stuff, We were just getting new Star Wars again. Shortly after it came out, we got Lord of the Rings and everything. But between then, there wasn't a lot going on. That was a big moment in sci-fi for teenagers in 1999.
I believe it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Galaxy Quest, I guess that's it.
Upper party. Everything's slightly better.
Oh, yeah. Everything is just a little cleaner. They're drinking from nicer glasses.
Yeah. He has wine.
That's a padded chair.
Yeah.
Nothing is falling apart.
But also nothing too nice either.
No, it's very
Yeah,
utilitarian.
so it's just a shiny, clean, not rusted version of that little
The same sign, yeah. Yeah. All right, so I guess that's all we had for this week.
Yeah, honestly. What's been up? And that's podcasting.
No, I mean, Watching a lot of Forensic Files lately.
I love that for you.
Yeah, it's fun. And a lot of the times I'm like, well, yeah, because it was 1992. Or, well, yeah, because it was 1987. This was the first time this was used in a court case. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like, so often when you're watching that show or any true crime thing, you could be like, it was that guy. Thank you.
So
Move
much
on.
of true crime. I gotta say, Last Podcast on the Left does an excellent job of emphasizing that so many cases could have been solved so much earlier if one person had given half a shit.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of times that, like, especially, like, the Toronto, like, gay village serial killer, where people were being like, hey, there's a bunch of, like, people going missing from this area. And all the cops would do is just be like, it must have went out of town. It's like, oh my god.
The other thing I see when I watch true crime is I'm like, this could never happen today because of XYZ. Like, nope, not going to happen today. Nope, not going to happen today. I do also love the ones where they're still unsolved or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, because that theory that it was just a tragic accident, the evidence is there. Like, I'm sorry.
No, I gotta say,
Not everything is a mob hit.
not everything is a mob hit. The last podcast series on Eileen Wuornos was utterly insane, and also that none of that probably would have happened if someone had given one single shit that there was literally a 15-year-old girl living by herself in the woods. People knew about that and did nothing.
Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to be a Ken here, but I think I'm going to ask questions if I bump into a 15-year-old living alone in the woods.
Like, people knew.
I don't think that that's overstepping my bounds as a neighbor.
No,
you know?
no, I wouldn't.
I'm not questioning how long you've let your grass grow. I'm questioning the bodies in it.
Yeah. Anyway, Forensic Files. Love that for you.
I like true crime stuff like
I
that.
fucking love true crime.
I make fun of my wife all the time and call it murder porn when she watches it, but then I just go and watch it too.
You asshole.
It's so much fun. It's when my mom came to visit, and the whole week when I wasn't working, I would just watch Forensic Files with my mom, and we'd be like, boo! Boo that man! He's a killer! And then they'd be like, it wasn't him. And then we'd be like, it was. And then they'd be like, chick, it was him! We're like, I called it!
Love it. I saw Powerwolf again. That was fun.
I've never seen Powerwolf.
I had a very
I don't go to a lot of shows, but
I had a very, very good time. Also, Gogol Bordello fucking rocked.
I wish it wasn't a random Tuesday.
My deepest apologies.
Yeah. Just like I wish that Rocky Horror wasn't on a Monday, but
So you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
I do, apparently, and that's to go on a Monday. All my stuff came in. I got to try it out. Oh, I didn't get a hat yet. I got to get a hat.
We'll get that figured out.
Yeah. I got to try everything on, make sure it fits.
Also, guess who finally fucking crowd surfed? Me.
Ugh.
I'm cool now.
No, crowd surfers aren't cool.
I've never been.
Boo this woman. Boo! Crowd surfing is bad.
Aw, it was fun.
I'm sure it was. And as a tall person, I get kicked in the head by crowd surfers a lot. And you know what I do with them? I pull them to the ground. You are so lucky.
Don't be a bitch.
I got kicked in the head. I'm allowed to throw people to the ground. Hey, Chris did that at Gogol Bordello.
Yeah.
An annoying crowd surfer. He just went like this. Huh, which I've seen Nick do it. I've done it before.
Yeah, you shouldn't be crowd surfing at fucking Gogol Bordello.
Why not? Where's the rule that says that?
I don't know.
Crowd surfing is anarchy.
He was being an aggressive asshole.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to lots of concerts where it's like, why are you doing that? Like a ska concert where people try and turn the skanking into a mosh pit. It's like, that's not
That's
what this
excessive.
is.
That's not what we're here for.
It's like, you can kick around and stuff, we'll make space for you. But if you start bouncing into people, you're getting laid the fuck out. Because that's one of my favorite things to do is just wait till they're falling towards me with their back towards me and just push them over. Ha! Enjoy your mosh pit now as you're getting stomped on.
Fucking love going in the pit. I've only done it twice, but it was very fun.
Again, violent pits. Unnecessary.
It makes me feel powerful.
Because people are being nice to you. In a real pit, you'd get torn to pieces.
Oh, I'm going to Lorna Shore.
Well, have fun with that.
I hope I get fucking put in a hydraulic press at that show.
All right, so what do we have going on? We have Rocky Horror coming up in October.
We do have Rocky Horror coming up in October, and I'm very excited for that.
Are we
Yeah, why not?
Okay. And then in November, we've got Saratoga Comic Con.
Fuck yeah.
Do we have anything else going on? As a show? Like, as a network, I mean, between now and then.
We'll
want
have we have the new.
I want to do another movie
the other
night.
thing at the bar, right? Are we still hyping that, or are we leaving that
I don't know.
for now? We'll leave that for now.
Either way on that.
We'll put a pin in that, but we've talked about it before, the potential of us having a bar show. So we're putting a pin in that. We'll let you know when we get more updates.
I'm very down for that.
If we don't do it, if we're not there as a show, we can still go there
I'm in.
Drunk and disorderly.
and do a drunk and disorderly.
I am very down for that.
And I'm glad that it's a Friday, the day after Halloween, because I have a toddler. So I will be trick-or-treating on Halloween itself.
I love that for you.
Plus having a Friday where we can go out would be very fun. So that's it.
Yeah.
That's happening. Either we
Yeah,
have a
okay.
show bar night, or we have a different show bar night.
Yep. Yeah. Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah, so that's all we have coming up. I guess we'll leave you with our usual words of
You gotta
wisdom.
come up with something, man.
I know.
But like, is it ever gonna happen?
I just keep forgetting. Someone has to remind me.
How old are you again?
Someone has to remind me.
Alright, well, for now, I leave you with this advice. Don't shake alien eggs. Leave them alone.
I was hoping I could come up with something on the fly, but it was going to be about Bush, so I'm going to let it go. Don't touch the alien eggs. Yeah, let's go with that. Bye.